Hi, let's do some Bible study today. Today we're going to be reading Genesis 7 verses 15 through 17 where we cover Noah's Ark and the echoes of 40 within it. This begins our Echoes of 40 series. We're going to be reading these verses from the CSB version. Here are the verses on the screen, but let's read them and break them down together today. And so they read, 2 of every creature that has breath of life in it came to Noah and entered the ark. Those that entered, male and female of every creature, entered just as God had commanded him. Then the Lord shut him in. The flood continued for 40 days on the earth. The water increased and lifted up the ark so that it rose above the earth. And it says that 2 of every creature that has breath of life came to Noah and entered the ark. This can be in reference to Genesis 6:19 through 20, where God gives Noah this command, but also Genesis 1 verses 24 and 25, where God creates all these creatures. Scholars estimate that Noah carried 6,744 animals following this command. They clarified that by the command of every creature means that this was classification of creature, not every single creature on earth, if that makes sense. Mentions of this ark also was listed in Genesis 6 verses 14 through 16. Here are a few visuals of what Noah's ark would have looked like. Continuation, verse 16 says that those who entered, male and female of every creature, entered just as God commanded him. Command here means to lay charge, give charge, or order, and even the animals obeyed. And those who entered is in reference to Genesis 6 verses 18 through 22. This includes the creatures and the 8 members of Noah's family that were able to enter this ark. This also points to God's covenant and Noah's favor with God. This can be found in Genesis 8:1, but also Genesis 6:8. Noah and his favor is also discussed in the New Testament at a little bit of length. This can be found in 2 Peter 2:5, 1 Peter 3:20, and Hebrews 11:7. Verse 17 says the flood continued for 40 days on earth. This is our echo of 40 here. 40 can be seen as a time of test and trial. We see this with Jesus' 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, which we covered, but also in Genesis 7 verse 12, where rain falls for 40 days and 40 nights. And also Genesis 8:6, where Noah had to trust the water would dry after 40 days of the flood ending. Continuation, verse 17 says, the water increased and lifted up the ark so that it rose above earth. The ark being lifted up symbolizes God's provision and protection. The idea of water increasing and covering all of the earth can be in reference of Genesis 1 verses 6 through 10, where God clears the waters of the earth. Some scholars note that the earth sinks back into the chaotic waters that God cleared from in the beginning, showcasing perhaps a new beginning. That was our Echo of 40 today and today's Bible study.